Morning, Lolita. How are you doing?
I am doing absolutely amazing. Listen, folks are not even ready for the 45 minutes that we are about to give them right now. So, for every single person that is inside of the room, let me just introduce myself. I am Lolita E. Walker. I am an ICF certified life, leadership, and executive coach. I'm also a power speaker, a mommy, an author, a podcaster, and all of the things. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. And Tony with the keys does some amazing things. Tony, let them know who you are, brother.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It's Tony with the keys. I am all things. I have been in the automotive space for 7 to 8 years, just really honing in on the sales and marketing side of things. I'm a musical mastermind. I love music, and that's why I loved what Kate was talking about with the muses, different things like that. So I'm just a resource, a light, and I'm here to help people unlock their brand message. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, all right. Well, we're going to go in, you guys. Get your pen and pads ready. Grab your CCNC journal. Write it on down. Today, we are talking about not only how to live by design. Tony with the keys is coming in with all of that, right? But we're also going to leave you with 5 strategies, okay, on how to claim your place and your space inside of this world. I want to say that again. 5 strategies on how to claim your place in your space. Why? Because sometimes we lose ourselves inside of the busyness of the day. Sometimes we forget the design to which we were already placed on this earth for. So I am ready, right? Tony is ready. So let's get started, right? And then we want to open it up because it's not just about us talking to you every single week. Nothing. No, it's about engaging in a conversation because that is how you make it reality. Right, Tony? Tony is on mute.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, I tried to press the button. I
Tony's
tried
doing
to
all the
press the
things.
button.
I
I
love it.
am.
That's okay. We have Kim who is here. She says, "Good morning, Lolita E. Walker." Barbara Cook, good morning. She says, "Good morning, beloved." I absolutely love it. Dr. Jeannie says, "So excited. You are talking with Tony with the keys." Yes, yes, and yes. And people are saying, "Good morning" to Tony. So let's jump right into it, right? The first one is about choosing you. Choosing you, right? This is about claiming your place in your space inside of this world. So the first thing is that you got to choose you. Now, it's easier said than done, right? If we always did it, then we would already be where it is that we want to go, right? Absolutely not. So, Tony, talk about this choosing you, because I know you have so many amazing stories that's happening in your life where you had to really think about how am I going to choose me first? And it's not always the easiest.
That's really good. Choosing you, like living a life by design. Whenever you start thinking about living a life by design and really creating and carving that life for yourself, it's important that we understand who we are and really define that and choose who we are. I ran into a quote by Oprah, actually, and it says, "Your life is worth taking. It's your life, and it's worth risking everything to make it yours." And so whenever I say, whenever you say choosing you and making sure that you have really made that decision that you matter and that your life is worth taking the risk to live life on your terms, I think that that's really important for us to digest and to understand and identify who we are and then choose us every time. So that's what I got with that one.
Oh, that's so good, right? We have a Facebook user who said, "Choosing you is not always easy, but it's so necessary. I wish I knew this sooner, but hey, I know now." I love that, right? Choosing you, and I'm talking to me as well. Listen, I told you guys every single week when I show up right here, I'm also talking to me, and that's the power of holding ourselves accountable. And so when I'm asking you guys to be able to draw in and open up your mouth and then articulate it by way of writing down in the chat or whatever have you, it's because it helps you to remember to choose you, right? If you're anything like me, I give, I give, I give. I give, I give, I give because I want you to win. I give, I give, I give because that's part of why I know that I'm right here on this earth. I give, I give, I give because people ask of me, right? And then we always talk about owning your yes, but absolutely respecting your no. But what if we said respecting your no so that you can own your yes and so that you can choose you? Because what happens, we're talking about claiming your place in your space inside of right now, making your impact count. The first is choosing you. Oh my gosh, so good. So let's keep on going. The L is about leveling up and layering up. I want to say that again. Not only are we leveling up, but we're layering up. What does that mean? Right? Level up. I want you to think beyond where you're standing right now. Matter of fact, I want you to even think beyond that place right now. What was happening, I think earlier today, we were talking about, look, I am greater than where I stand right now. I am world class. But if you walk in knowing that I am world class, then you're going to act like you're world class. You're going to surround yourself with people who are world class. You're going to place yourself in different positions of where you should be in order to claim where it is that you absolutely need and deserve to be. So Tony, with the keys, when we talk about leveling up and then layering up, inserting some juiciness inside of all those levels right there, inserting some knowledge, some tools, what you got for the people?
Oh, that's good. Lolita. Leveling up and layering up. And what comes up for me definitely off of, just playing off of what Glenn was speaking about this morning in his segment, um, and how he started at one point and he layered on top of that to where he was able to win this contest, telling pretty much the same story, but with more confidence, with more passion. And I think that it's important for us to, we know where we are, and to really reflect on how we get to where we are, how we got here, and knowing that we have added so many different layers of so many different versions and layers of ourselves, to be the absolute best to get us to our next destination.
Oh,
And so
yes.
whenever we're leveling up and we're layering up, we're actually adding on more armor, we're adding on more passion, more purpose, more definition of who we are and how we can move forward. So that's what came up for me.
Oh, so good, so good. And I love this question that Dora Maria is asking right now. She said, what happens when you choose you, but it starts to go left and it starts to go wrong? So, Tony, you want to jump in first and then I'll jump in second with you. How are we going to tag team this one right here? The question is, what happens when you choose you, but it starts to go left or it starts to go wrong?
I said the word just a second ago. I said define, and I think that that's the part, is we can choose us in theory, but until we actually define who we are, and whenever I say define, you can have affirmations, you can affirm some things, but whenever you write it down and you put it on paper, it becomes a law to yourself, to the universe. It becomes real, and I think that that's important. Is before you can choose you, you have to write down who you are. You have to really hone it in and define it. And then once you define it, if you start to go left, you have that reference to go back and say, this is who I am, and this is why I chose who I am. And so that's I think that can help that situation.
Oh, that's so good. Before I give my 2 cents in on this one right here, excellent question. Patricia said family, community should get from your overflow, right? Family and community really should be getting from your overflow. And so, to answer this question right here, what happens when you choose you, but it starts to go left and it starts to go wrong? Here it is. It's pause, right? There is power in your pause. I want you to pause. Take a look at what the situation is yielding. What do you mean it's going left, it's going right? What is happening right now? And then how is where it is that you want to go tapping into what's happening right now? So let's just use a practical example. I'm trying to see if it was written down. Let's say that you choose you and you said no to a new project that wants to come your way, but you know that your plate is so full that there's no way that you can be successful in taking on this thing, right? What if you choose you and you say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do that project right now. Can't wait to get to it in the future. But right now, I got to choose me because this is what is important for me. As you start to say those things, you start to remember why it is that you're choosing where it is that you're going. You know what, right now, my life is so full of chaos and I feel everywhere. So I'm choosing to pause inside of this instance. I'm choosing to say no to a couple of things because it is inside of me to want to do better, to go bigger, bolder, right? And in order to do that, I have to make some determinations for myself. I have to choose me. I have to create boundaries. I have to make sure that I'm excellent in every single thing that I'm showing up to. And when you start to say that, you remind yourself of why this thing is important. So choosing you now is all about what the end game is. It's all about your yes. It's all about what you're saying yes to. I want you to remember that your no equals your yes on the other side of that. Remember why it is you are choosing you. You are making the decision that you are making right now, because at the end of the day, you are left standing on your foundation. Oh, I hope that makes sense. Um, Yes, a Facebook user said pausing and choosing me actually feels good. It does. It does. And it's not always, listen, I'm going through something right now where I have all of these deadlines, right? But I have all of these things that's pulling on me, pressing on me, and all of the things. And I have chosen so many other things except for doing what it is that I need to do right now. But today, I gotta choose me. That means I gotta say yes to me in the tasks that are responsible for me. I gotta say yes because it's bigger than my right now. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, and yes. Dr. Jeannie said, choose you. No equals your yes. Stand in that. Tony with the keys. Yes, you want to add on anything else before we go to that A? This is so good, right?
So hard. Like I love it. I love it. I love the power of the pause. And sometimes we, just like what you're saying, we have all the things weighing on us, everything that we need to do, deadlines that are up on us. And whenever we can, I heard this thing a long time ago and I didn't know that it was real until I actually start taking heed to it. But you slow down to speed up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to take that pause to really get, to regain that focus on what your tasks are at hand. And so there is power in the pause.
Come on.
Definitely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, and yes. Listen, a Facebook user said, you have to be in alignment with your why. Yes. And that goes back to Dora Maria's question, because we've all been there where, listen, we choose us inside of the moment, but everything starts to go left and go why. So as you talk these things out, as you remind yourself why this is important for you, why this yes might equal no for so many other people, why you're choosing you, why you're saying yes to this project, why you're saying no to a couple of other things that might be important, right? You have to be in alignment with your why. And I say talk it out, right? Absolutely. At least consider the talking out. I love that Andrea said, great tips. I love the pause. Oh my gosh, so good. Let's keep on going. Now, today we're talking about how to claim your place in your space intentionally. We're talking about living your life by design and claiming what is already yours, because you got to know it, you got to trust it, you got to believe it. Today, I'm here with Tony with the keys, and we are leaving you some amazing power. So, as you think about the words that we're saying, think about applying it to your life. How can this apply? How can I pump myself up in order to make sure that I'm living my best life? And that best life is claiming what it is that is already yours, knowing that it's already done, done, and done. We talked about the C, choosing you. We talked about the L, right? Which is leveling up and then layering up. Oh, so good. The A, authentically showing up. Authentically showing up. Just do your work. Don't worry about everybody else didn't see you yet. Do your work. People are looking. You are doing your work. You are satisfying you. You are satisfying that why. People will come. Your tribe will come. Discouragement will come along the way. Authentically show up. Do your work. Show up every single day. What does showing up look like for you? What does showing up look like for you? What do you want it to look like for you? When you're talking to your future self, what do you want it to look like for you? When you're at that world class space, when you're looking beyond right now, when you're already choosing you, then you leveled up and then you layered up. What does that look like for you on the other side? Show up in it. We always talk about what's your strengths. I'm always giving you a strength exercise. Name your top 3 strengths and how have you demonstrated them? Show up in them. Ooh, Tony with the keys. Tony with the keys. Jump on
I,
in.
I just started laughing at myself. My thoughts are funny sometimes. You said authentically showing up. And I start thinking about the adverse to that and like really, really extra out. Like somebody showing up with big glasses on, you got big shoes and you got your big fur coat on and you're an imposter. You're not even who you say you are whenever you show up. You're not being authentic to who you truly are. And I'm in a season right now where I have been dealing with really defining who I am, and really, and that's why that's really big on me right now, is really defining that and being authentic, and not sometimes you get that notion that am I being fake? Is this a facade? Am I an imposter? And I think that if we can continue to show up every day and continue to have that frequency, that vibration, that frequency of who we are, and being authentic, being truly us, then we can dismiss that imposter syndrome. We can take the glasses off, that big coat and them big old shoes. Like, you can take that off, and you don't have to be a made up version of yourself. If you show up authentic, people will be attracted to that. You don't have to show. I don't have to show up and sound like Glenn. I don't have to speak as eloquently as Lolita. I can show up who I am and be me. And that's the importance of this thing, is that you are the best version of you, and that's who we came to see, is you. And so that's what came up for me with showing up authentic.
Oh, I absolutely love that. And the reason why that's so good is because let me tell you, I recently had a client, and she had just been promoted to a senior level inside of her organization, even more senior than what she had applied for. Okay. And she was in a space and she was saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this. Oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. I don't know how to do this. People are looking at me and I know that they know that I don't know what I'm talking about." Right? What happens when you say yes? And now, to your point, you're starting to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm underwater. I don't know. People are looking at me." And now you start to bring in all of these things. You're talking to yourself about all of the things that's not right. And so the work that she did, the soul work that she was able to do, was really to say, well, what skills do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? What are your strengths that you said they were again? What skills do you bring? Okay. When you got hired, why did they tell you you were the best person for the job? Okay. Let's talk those things through, because sometimes you have to recognize that I've already done this work. I am here because I've already demonstrated it. Sometimes you got to remember that because you authentically showed up is why you're standing right here. So, what if we could all stand right here, right now, and say, I am standing right here because I've already demonstrated that I got this. I've already demonstrated that I've done this work. I've already demonstrated that my potential is way beyond, because somebody already sees in me the greatness that I have yet to see in myself. Hmm. What if we decided to stand on that today? And what happens when you stand on that, right? What happens when you stand on that? Because I am the greatness that others have yet to see. What happens when you stand on that thing right there is that you start to soar and to walk and talk and behave in where it is that you want it to go. Where it is that you're standing at the 2 to 3 to 4 levels up beyond what you thought you could do. And now I want you to take that up, because we talked about choosing you. We talked about leveling up and layering up. We talked about authentically showing up. And now we want to talk about interacting with your future you. Oh my gosh. That's what Tony with the keys and I have been talking about all morning. It is interacting with the future you. It is looking ahead, moving over to the left, looking ahead and seeing even more. It's about feeling the fact that I'm standing right here already. I've already graduated. It's about reminding yourself of that. It's about not only the pictures that are telling you that, but the story that you're saying to yourself when you see yourself 5 years from now, when you see yourself 1 year from now, when you see yourself 3 months from now. I heard somebody this morning say, what did she say? I sometimes can't see where it is that my next level is. And that's so true. Sometimes you can't see it, you can't even feel it, right? But you know it's something greater in you. So I want you to take that feeling. I want you to walk up the mountain and take that feeling. And now you place yourself standing on top of that mountain right there. And now you scream from the mountaintops that I stand right here, because it is every single thing that I'm bringing to the table. I want you to name your strengths. I want you to talk about where it is that you're standing right now. And now I want you to remind yourself that the fall can be removed, because you have the power to do that. So where is it that your mind is taking you of where you should be? How do you get that? What is it that people are telling you you're great at? What is it that people are coming to you for? What is it that you are going to do, that you are doing today because you're authentically showing up, that has you standing right there? You got to think this, you got to know it, you got to trust it, you got to do the work to be there. Ooh, Tony with the keys, come on in.
Ooh, spit fire right now. For
Tag
real.
teaming it up.
And what I know it what came in for me, speaking to your future self and thinking about your future self, I immediately start thinking about working out. I started thinking about the way that working out, you don't necessarily see the results right now, but you do it because you know that there is a version under the layers that you might have,
Mm.
that I have, that that there's a better version physically there, and so it's easier to think about it in a physical aspect because we've all seen progress with that physical aspect to where you're putting in the work today that you don't see the results
Mhm.
for 30 days, 60 days, but you're putting in that work, and it's sometimes it's really vulnerable putting in that work whenever you under that weight and you're shaking and it's harder to push up than it was the last rep or the last set, and you know that you just gotta push it. You're pushing it for something that you don't even get to see, you don't even get to reap the reward right now. It's the work that you're putting in right now for the promise of what's to come. And so that's what came up for me, is just to really look at that from a physical, standpoint, and how we put in the work, how we work on our future selves through working out, and how that can translate to all these other areas that we put in these reps we're working hard for, not for today's gratification, but for the promise of what's to come.
Yes, yes, yes. Listen, Dr. Cook James said, Ashe, Ashe. And Simon said, so true. To be the best version of oneself, you must understand the key pillars of health, right? Physical, healthy diet, connection, purpose, sleep, and mental health. Yes. Simon said, this is a great share. And then Colo came in and said, leveling up, authentically showing up. And Julianne says, saying no to others is saying yes to ourselves. Hashtag and absolutely. Oh my gosh, such a juicy conversation we are having today. If you are just now joining, then what Tony with the keys and I are talking about today is how to claim your place in your space, how to claim your place in your space. And we're offering you only 5 strategies today. Now, listen, there's a whole lot of other ones, but today we want to hone in on 5, and that is in the acronym of CLAIM, CLAIM. And we've already talked to you about choosing you. We've already talked to you about leveling up and layering up. We've already talked to you about authentically showing all the way up. And then we just talked about interacting with your future you. And sometimes it's not easy. So peppered inside of this not only is stories from both Tony with the keys and I, but it's also some tangible takeaways, some tangible soul work, as I like to call it in coaching cocktails and conversations, that you can actually do and think through so that now you can shift. Hannah, hey Hannah. Hannah actually said, getting uncomfortable with short term discomfort in order to create the habits that you in your most real self, that makes you your most real self. I love that, Hannah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so let's keep on going because there's an M that is still waiting for us to talk all about it. Okay. And then we want to absolutely open it up before Tony and I continue with some amazingness that we're going to have. We only have about 15 more minutes, everybody. So the M is about making your impact today. Why? Because we're claiming it. It's already done and done. God already put the plan together. You're just walking this thing called life. And so it's already done. And when you know it, you trust it, you believe it, you are it. And this making your impact today is all about claiming it. What is the impact that you've already made on the world? Some people are like, oh, I don't really know the impact. Yeah, you do, because people tell you. Yeah, you do, because you feel it. Yeah, you do, because you've celebrated it. What is the impact that you're making? When you're no longer on this earth, what are people gonna exclaim about you? That's the impact that you have made. You're making impact because you're here today. I know you're making impact. You're making impact because you this isn't your first time here. And if it is your first time here, you're already feeling all of those goosey bumps inside because you know that it is time to claim your place in your space. When I show up, I say, I am Lolita Emmanuel Walker. Now, how do I want people to talk about me? And am I walking in that? And what I know is that there's aspects that I'm not walking in my full self. That I'm not walking in my full self. Now, somebody can say, oh my gosh, you are so hard on yourself. I see all of these things that you're doing. Yes. And I think that that's amazing that you see those things. But what I know is that when I define Lolita E. Walker, it comes with a certain standard. I want you to know that when you say your name, it starts to come with a different standard. How can you shift and you shape yourself to now walk inside of that standard? Who can you align with to place yourself in that place, in that space? If you are the person that's standing at the top of the playground at all times in every circle that you're in, I challenge you to talk and interact with that future you so that now you can start to surround yourself with people who, as they talk, you're already leveling up. You're adding into these layers because you're recognizing, oh, well, hold on a minute. I know so many folks that became authors within the last 2 years. Why? Because they chose to surround themselves with people who they're like, huh, you got how many books? Well, hold on a minute. I always knew I had a story in me. And you start asking questions, right? And then you start to say, oh, okay, well, what's the steps again? And next thing I know, I'm excited at all of the books and the stories and the impact that people are making. Tony with the keys, come on in. Come on in.
Impact. How big are you? How big are you? Like, and I guess I'm just a visual guy. Like I always take these things and I make them visual in my mind, and it helps me represent the lessons that I'm trying to extract from these amazing ideas. And so whenever I think of impact, I think about uh, I thought about boxing. I thought about hitting the heavy bag, and if you barely hit it, it doesn't make much of a dent. It doesn't impact it. And then I think about like Mike Tyson hitting a punching bag and that type of impact. And it's hard and it's tight and it's strong and it's focused energy. And I just think about how big our thoughts are and how big we can be. Um, and then I think about that, really moving towards it with focus and with energy and not being so spread. I've been held accountable for spreading myself thin so many times and not giving the direct focus to things that could be very impactful for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I've acknowledged and acknowledging that, my word for this year is focus. And so it's beautiful to think about that impact and how much impact a focused blow can make whenever it's tight and it's strong and it's given everything you got and you're not wavering in your delivery. You can truly make an impact on the people around you, on the world. That can have a ripple effect that could make the impact across the nation. So that's what came up for me whenever we're talking about making an impact, is really focusing in on the direction that you're going and giving it everything you got. And that's how you really make dent into that heavy bag, that life is.
Oh, so good. When I think about claiming your place in your space, when I think about all of the things that we talked about today, I think about something that I'm so super proud of. Now, I'm proud of a lot of things, but one of the things I'm really, really, really proud of, and I sit back and I'm like, dang, is my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat. Honestly, I'm so proud of that thing because I remember when it sparked as an idea. I remember when I said, oh my gosh, I will not go to another retreat and come back feeling a little bit empty, rejuvenated, but now what? And I remember coming up with that concept. I remember calling my friends, two friends, to say, guess what? This is what I see. This is what I vision. This is what I vision. And I know that both of you guys fit into this. I remember not even recognizing the impact that it would make because I hadn't done it yet, but I knew the impact that it would make for me. And I knew that I needed it and I wanted it. And I knew that I had a community who also needed it and wanted it and would feel amazing at the end of it. And after that first one, even during that first one, there was this exercise that somebody gave me that was right at the retreat, and they said to close your eyes and ask them questions about where it is that they're right now, and ask them to put a thumbs up or a thumbs down on where they see that right there. Karima Ropel actually shared that exercise with me, and it's so freaking amazing. Because in that moment, when you can see all those thumbs go up, when you can see all those thumbs go up, or even when you can see, the third one was to put it to the side. If you're watching on any of the live streams, and you see to put it to the side, which is kind of neutral, like I'm getting there, I'm getting there. It's to really know that now I can adjust. So where in your process are you willing to adjust, so that you can make the impact that is necessary for you to make on this earth? Because what if tomorrow you're not here? So what is it that you're going to do today in order to claim your place in your space? This is what we're talking about today. So I want to make sure we can open it up to a couple of folks. Is there anybody that wants to pop in and add anything to CLAIM? Because we're all ears. Okay. I've been accused of not waiting long enough. And so I want to make sure I wait long enough. I guess there's some folks for the last couple of weeks who wanted to pop in, and my pause was not a whole pause in that. Okay. So,
Lolita,
hey.
Hey, this is Jeannie. I would say I just really love the focus flow that Tony just talked about, and also the making a strong dent with your women's retreats. I think that brought to mind that focus flow. You're focused on exactly what you want to do. I'll pass them.
Thanks, Dr. Jeannie. Dr. Jeannie is in all the places, okay? She's on LinkedIn typing in. I love she's on Clubhouse talking up. Come on, Dr. Jeannie. I'm talking, that is about showing all the way up, okay? I love Dr. Jeannie. Dr. Jeannie, actually, you all, if you are in the Atlanta area and you are a speaker, then she is helping to lead the National Speakers Association in Georgia. And Dr. Jeannie had me out to speak to her amazing group. Come on now. Let's talk about impact. Let's talk about connecting. You love Dr. Jeannie?
Man, she's amazing. She's a genie. So, yeah, I love Dr. Jeannie.
Dr. Jeannie in the genie bottle making things happen. I love it. Who is the other powerful woman who wanted to pop in?
It was Mary Kim, Lolita. How are you?
Good morning.
I read a lot of everything that you guys have shared today. But the one thing, when you shared, when you had your vision for your retreat, or you went to one and you weren't fulfilled afterwards. And that is really what's happening right now in my life. This Sunday, I'm hosting my first empowered brunch in New Jersey. And I've gone to many workshops and business tips and all that other stuff for decades. And not one of them ever tapped into who I am, like our inner self, and to build confidence within me. And so this event is taking business skills, social skills, and life skills and interpersonal skills and bring it all together, because it all works in hand as women in business, whether you're part of your community, you own your business, or you have a career, and as a woman, right? And so this brunch is happening on Sunday, and I'm like, is anyone going to believe in this? And am I just thinking about what Mary wants and not really seeing what women need? And I have 13 women who, I don't know, I guess is saying yes to partner. Like, it's such a beautiful thing. Like, yes. And I got about 40 women who are coming, and I know it's going to be life shifting. And so we're still trying to get about 8 other women in the room who want to come, but they can't afford. But I know we still got 3-4 more days it'll happen. But I understand where that place is, and I'm like super excited to see this come to life on Sunday. So thank you.
Congratulations in advance for the amazingness that will happen, for the impact you will make. Congratulations for claiming what it is that you want, that you need, that you deserve, and for all of the women that you will impact at your event this upcoming weekend. It's already done. So keep on showing up. And I'm glad I see so many of the 5 aspects that Tony and I talked about this morning exactly in your share. So thank you. Tony, did you want to add on to that?
I just think that it's powerful that you are claiming it and actually claiming it and believing it. And when you do that, no matter what it shows up as physically, which we're believing that it's going to be amazing, is you show up in a different place and you just show up more confident and purposeful and powerful. And so I kudos to you, and I know that it's going to be amazing.
Yes, yes,
Thank you,
yes.
thank you. I'm receiving all of it. I believe it. It's gonna happen. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
I love that. Yes, Audrey said, I hope this is a recorded session. Yes, it is. It is on for sure Facebook in my Coaching Cocktails and Conversations group. It will be on Coaching Cocktails and Conversations podcast. It will absolutely be on Breakfast with Champions podcast, where Tony and I are excited to be co-hosts on that podcast as well. It's on LinkedIn Live right now. It'll be recorded right there. And as always, it will be on my YouTube channel as well. And bwcdaily.com. Are you guys a part of bwcdaily.com? There's so many quick nuggets and tips that come out of these sessions. So yes, record it, please share it. And also one of the things too is that I would love for an ask, right? I'd love for you guys to head over to Instagram at Hey Coach Walker and really leave what you guys are taking away from today. There's a picture on the last post that says claim your place in your space, right? And so you can write on there to both Tony with the keys and I'll tag him and make him a collaborator on there. But there's nothing more powerful than seeing this and then sharing with another audience the impact that you had today, right? That you made today. Oh my gosh, so good. Tony, why don't you tell folks how they can keep in contact with you as well?
Awesome, Lolita. So I just recently set up a quick landing page. If you want to go and check out TonyKeys.com, just pull up on me. I'd love to connect with you. I'm on IG, Facebook, all the places, and starting to really push myself into these other spaces. But Lolita, I just want to tell you this was an amazing segment, a great topic. I'm glad that you picked this topic. And one more visual aspect, whenever I think about claiming my space, I've been teaching these kids, basketball. I've been coaching them and showing them different things. And I just think about getting that rebound off the board and you go up and you get it at the highest point, you come down and you gotta claim your space. You won't let nobody get that ball. You won't let nobody take it from you, and you claim your space. And so I like to, like I said, equate things to a physical aspect, and that's what it is to me. Just carving out your own space. And I love that you tie that in with today's segment. So thank you for letting me be a part of this. It was fun.
Oh, absolutely. But the party's not over. The party is not over. We are going to leverage all of the time. We have about 10 more minutes before we are out of here, but we want to definitely replay what it is that we shared with you all today. Okay. So first, Crystal. Hey, so Crystal, so good to see you on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for popping in. For everybody else that popped in as well. Listen, today, Tony with the Keys joined me. We partnered today to really talk about living your life by design, to really talk about how you can claim your place in your space, which is right here, exactly where it is that you are. Okay. And in that, we talked about these 5 strategies. So if you're just popping in, when you're listening to the replay, when you're on the podcast listening in, I want you to go back and truly think about each and every one of these. So the C, right? The C was all about choosing you. And we talked about what if you choose you, but then all the things start to go wrong. How do you do that? So you got to go back and listen in, because we talked about strategies on how you can practically do that, because it could happen, right? It could happen, and it might. Overthinking sometimes can put us into a space where we're not progressing. And Tony shared just some instances where he was able to really bring that to life as well. So then that L, we talked about, this might be my favorite right here, is leveling up and then layering up. So leveling up, continuing to soar, but then making sure that you're layering up as well. So at every level to which you attain, right? Then you want to make sure that you're gaining, you're layering yourself with some new skills, with some new folks at your playground and your community. You want to make sure that you are experiences. How are you layering that level so that you can leverage that plus more as you continue to soar? So good. Then we talked about A was authentically showing up. How do you do that? We talked a little bit about what does authentically showing up mean? Make sure that you take a look at that and you think about, am I authentically showing up? And then Tony with the Keys talked about, these Bozo the Clown shoes on, and like the big nose and all this hair. And what if you're showing up like that? And he reminded us, guess what? Take it off. Because we want you. Isn't that what you said, Tony? We want you. We don't want that bozo.
Yeah, we want you. We don't want the imposter. We don't want the imposter. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Then we talked about interacting with your future you, right? In my latest book, Can We Talk? There's a poem in there called Dear Future Me, Dear Future You. And sometimes we forget to talk to our future selves. Sometimes we forget to get out of the weeds of where it is that we are inside of this moment, because there's greatness that lay ahead for us. And sometimes we have to remember our why and look further ahead so that we can get unstuck from where it is that we are. I was reading something the other day and it said that in life we don't get stuck. Like, what life are they living over there? Because I believe and I know and I trust not only with my clients, but I've been there too, where I felt that I wasn't moving anywhere. I felt stuck literally. I felt that I was inside of mud. I felt like I didn't know how I was going to pick up my feet and walk out the mud, because it started feeling like concrete. It started feeling like concrete and I was stuck. So yes, you can be stuck and you can seek other resources to help you shimmy yourself out, to help you chisel all of those things. That's why professionals, aligning yourself with professionals, with certified coaches, with therapists, with, brand identity, which is what Tony with the keys does, with folks who are doing different things so that you can lean on a professional to be able to say, guess what? I know that there is more for me. So I want to show up all the way. I'm claiming it today on this day right here. And I'm making sure that I show up. And then that M was about making your impact today. Yes. Crystal said claim, CLAIM, take it, own it, be it, do it. You are it. You are already it. It's already done. You're already standing on a mountaintop. You already are graduating. You already are an author, a best-selling author that is already doing book signings. You're already on that stage that you want to be on. You're already having those courses that you've been stuck on. You're already writing that paper that you haven't written yet. Go ahead, Tony, with the keys. He's on mute. So let me ask you guys this. What is it that you want to add today? Don't forget, I want to absolutely see it on Instagram at Hey Coach Walker, because it's nothing like being able to see the impact right there and being able to read and go back, because we are the greatness that others have yet to see, because there's someone else that is waiting and looking inside of a different audience that is like, what is that? What is that power that everybody else is getting? What is it that people are taking away from this notion of claiming who it is and what it is that you are, because that place in that space? Is there anybody that wants to jump in these last 5 minutes? Okay. So one of the things that I absolutely wanted to talk about, Dr. Jeannie right here said done on IG also. Thanks for inspiring us to claim. Absolutely, Dr. Jeannie. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and even if they're not physically here inside of the room right now, is impact. And what is the impact that I see? I think it's so important to share with people how they show up in the world, because sometimes they don't yet recognize it. They may say that they do, but no one has told them lately what the impact is. And so I'm just going to look on my screen right here and see the people that are here. I'm going to shout out where the impact is that I believe that they're playing in, and this is how they are showing up in the world. So if it's not the right impact, then you got to go do something else, because this is where I see and I feel the impact. And maybe it's something where somebody says, I didn't even know that that's the impact that I'm making. Let me lean into that a little bit differently. So I see Dr. Tangi first, and Dr. Tangi makes impact inside of the space of, if you all were around last week, Dr. Tangi did a segment on this breathing exercise and meditation and how it fits within fitness and your body and wellness, right? The wellness space is what she's tackling and all of these different facets. So her impact is making sure that she shows up and allows you to reclaim the greatness inside of you by way of breath, by way of recognition, by way of standing inside of your fitness journey. That is Dr. Tangi, right? If I look around and I see Dora Maria, right? Dora Maria is a servant. Dora Maria is always serving without any expectation on the other side. Even to the point sometimes I'm like, Dora Maria, we need to add expectation on the other side. It's okay to add expectation. But where I see her impact is the amazingness of not only collaboration, but of organization, and how she was able to create a volunteer team in order to continue to push where it is that we show up on a daily basis. So with Christina and with Mary Kim, with Mary Lynn, I think that's so powerful. The power of influence is where I see Dora Maria stamping her impact on this world. The power of influence, the power of getting things done. And now with a children's book, You Are Beautiful, is reminding folks that the greatness sits inside of you. That is impact. Every day we talk and we are every week I speak to you, and this is going out across the world. There's folks in Europe and in Africa and in North America and in Asia that's listening in and making choices based on the words coming out of my mouth. That is impact. You got to know it. You got to claim it because you're showing up in it every day. When I look at Crystal, I see the mom link. When I look at Crystal, I see beyond that. I see the individual that it is that she is and how she shows up authentically. I see her claiming her place in her space. I see her looking back a year ago and being like, wow, I didn't even recognize that all of this was here. And I see her growing and lifting and soaring and leveling up and layering up at the same time. Power. What is your impact inside of this world? Right? What is your impact inside of this world? So amazing. I see soul and I see the growth that I saw inside of her at my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat. I mean, transformational, just looking at her growing and discovering and rediscovering her impact in this world is how she shows up in the world and how she's growing inside of her. Her impact is how she is shifting. Like that is the impact because then she's a soul shine to everyone else. That is impact. And here's the thing, you all, when people can start telling you about the impact that you're making in the world, imagine that. So today I encourage you to not only claim it, but to help somebody else claim it. Why? Because we're better, bigger, and bolder than where it is that we stand right now. Today is impact. And I can't wait for you to let me know the impact that you have absolutely made in the world on this day. It takes a second. It takes a moment. It takes a day. It takes 2 days. It all is because we are greatness. So where it is that we are, I cannot say that enough. So wherever your endeavors are, then guess what? Level up and layer up. I'm so excited to have been able to talk to each and every one of you all today. Dr. Jeannie said, Dora Maria is a servant leader and a power influencer. Oh, and author. Beautiful. Take these, clip these, make sure you play these over and over again so you can remember the greatness that it is that you are and you can show up, whether it's in your business, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, whether it is at life. I want you to level up because you've already claimed it and it's already yours. So I'm so excited to have talked to you guys today. Listen, head on over to lolitawalker.com. Make sure that you engage in services and products that are going to level you up beyond the 45 minutes. I want to thank Tony with the keys, who I think had to pop in and do something else today, and every single person who was here. All right. Want to go ahead and
Thank
turn it
you,
over, but
Lolita.
thanks. Oh, you're there. Hey, Tony.
It was an amazing segment. I had an alarm go off. I love that you took the time to share the impact with everybody, and that's such a powerful thing because we don't always see the impact that we're making surface level, and it's much deeper. And so, thank you for doing that. Thank you for allowing me to share this space with you, and we're gonna claim it. We're gonna continue to claim it. So
Done and done. Thank you so much, Tony. Thanks, y'all.